Hey children, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here we come with another question from year 2021. It says, write an original short story in which two children and their grandfather are main characters. So children, here I am providing you a story writing format. As you all know, a story is made up of uh, like a start, a middle, and an end. The start introduces the characters and the setting. So like in the beginning, always start with a fun opening to get your reader interested in the story. Tell where and when the story takes place and who the characters are. So this could be your introductory paragraph in the story. The middle is where things happen. So like what kind of things? Things like suppose you have a problem. Tell what the problem is that the main characters face. It could be anything from a lost toy to a mean friend. You can set your story in any background. So to develop the story further, if you have a problem, you will always try to solve the problem, or the characters that you have mentioned in your story, they will try to solve the problem. Either they solve it themselves or they might take help from somebody elder than them or someone else. In after that, in the story, the big moment or the exciting part, because without some kind of excitement or some kind of twist in the story won't be interesting for the readers to read. So this is the part where the problem becomes most exciting. It's the high point of the story. And you also, as you all know, the end is when the story is finished and everything is explained. So in the end, you should show how the problem is solved and how the story ends. Make sure the ending feels satisfying and complete. You should never end your story without giving a proper conclusion. So to make a story exciting, there are things like problems and surprise twists. And to make characters more interesting, we can show how they change and grow. So now you have the basic idea of what a story is and what makes it fun to read. Children, there are some important tips while you write a story. Use simple, easy to understand words. Make sure the story has a beginning, middle, and end. Use vivid description to help your readers see and feel what is happening in the story. Make sure the story makes sense and has a clear message. Have fun and let your imaginations run wild. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and let your imagination run wild. The goal is to help kids understand the basic elements of storytelling and encourage them to use their creativity. So, you all have to be very creative, come up with your own new ideas, so now let's start writing your own stories. As you all know, I am going to give you sample for the question that has been given in the board paper. So here again, I am providing you two samples for this question. You can take ideas from these samples. One I have written in the form of dialogues and the other one is in the form of an essay or in the form of narrating a story. So here comes the first one. I have given the title. As you all know, title is very, very important when you start writing the composition. The title is as follows, The Luckiest Adventure. Once upon a time, there were two children named Simmy and Jack. They lived with their parents, but they frequently went to see their grandfather who lived in a small cottage by the river. Simmy and Jack were playing in the woods one day when they came across a strange creature. It was a small bird with bright green feathers singing the most beautiful song they had ever heard. Simi says, "Oh no, Jack, take a look at that bird. It's singing so sweetly." Jack says, "I have never seen such a bird before. Let's catch it and show Grandpa." So the kids chased after the bird, but it was too fast for them and flew away. They were disappointed, but they decided to go see their grandfather anyway. They told their grandfather about the bird they had seen when they arrived. "Oh, yes," Grandpa says. "That is a very rare bird. It is said to bring good luck to anyone who hears its song. Really? Says Simi. Can we look for it and hear its song again? Grandpa says, of course. Let's go on an adventure together to find the bird. So, the three of them set off into the woods, following the river and listening for the bird's song. They eventually heard the lovely melody again. Finny and Jack ran towards the sound, but when they arrived, they discovered that the bird was caught in a trap. Oh no, the poor bird has become entrapped. We have to help, says Simi. Don't worry, I have got just the thing, Grandpa says. You know, the children here are taking help to solve their problem. Who is helping them? Grandpa. Grandpa carefully cut the bird free with his pocket knife. It soared into the air again, singing its lovely song. Simmy, thank you very much, Grandpa. That was thrilling. And now we have good fortune, says Jack. Grandpa, that's correct. The best part is that we were able to experience this adventure together. The kids hugged their grandfather, thankful for the memories they had created. They walked back to the cottage, humming the bird's song and thinking how fortunate they were to have a wonderful grandfather. They went on many more adventures together after that, always looking for new and exciting things to discover. And every time they heard the green bird's song, they were reminded of the wonderful day they had spent together, chasing their dreams and making memories that would last a lifetime. So children, did you notice how we had started? We had a beginning, then we had the characters, and the characters come across a bird, then what is their problem, who solves their problem, and in the end, how the problem got solved. And as you all know, we should always give a message through our story. So in the conclusion, the kids are happy and they enjoyed the adventure they had with their grandfather. So here's one more sample for your question. It goes like this. Title: Grandpa's Kite Adventure. Once upon a time, two children, Max and Stella, were very close to their grandfather. Their parents would drop them off at grandpa's house every weekend so they could spend the day with him. Max and Stella were always ecstatic when they saw Grandpa. He was always planning something fun for them to do. Grandpa made every day special by taking them to the zoo, playing board games, playing catch, or simply going for a walk. Grandpa invited the children to accompany him to the park one Saturday morning. He had something very special in mind. Grandpa had brought a picnic lunch and a kite for them to fly when they arrived at the park. The kids had never seen a kite before, so Grandpa taught them how to make one before taking them to an open field. Grandpa showed how to hold the kite string and how to run and let the string, how to make the kite fly. Max and Stella were amazed by how high the kite flew in the sky. They laughed and cheered as they watched it soar. And whenever the kite fell lower, Grandpa gently guided it back up. At the end of the day, Max and Stella had a great time with their grandfather. As they said their goodbyes, Grandpa told them, remember, no matter how high the kite may fly, I will always be here to help you guide it back down just like I did today. That was a day Max and Stella will never forget. Even as they grew older, they recall the special time they spent with Grandpa at the park. So here you have gone through two samples. Now I would like all of you to write your own beautiful story and share it with your loved ones, and you write in your exam. Be as creative as possible. Uh, Try to build up your original ideas so that the story would sound more original. So thank you everybody. All the best.